Good morning. So I just wanted to come on here and share something with you guys that I feel the Holy Spirit put into my spirit about a week ago. And other than that, it has been so quiet. I have not been having any dreams, visions, any words of knowledge or messages, anything. Usually I'll at least have like a song come into my spirit, which actually I did. I will say that. I had one song come into my spirit the other night when I woke up, and then I had this particular incident happen that I'm about to share. But other than that, like for months, I'm just not dreaming anything having to do with like prophetic stuff, which is very unusual for me because normally it's like for sure, at least once a week. I normally seem to always have at least a dream about something that the Lord is showing me, like a warning or like a heads up or just kind of explaining where we're at or whatever. But nothing at all. Everything that I have been dreaming is all pertaining to all the personal stuff that's been going on in my life, which, if you didn't see the video that I shared last night, my husband and I are actually going to be becoming foster parents any second now. We're just waiting for that call. It could happen any moment now. So everything that I've been dreaming kind of has to do with that. But other than that, I have had nothing. And I've noticed that it's not just me that's gone quiet. It kind of seemed like for years, so many of us were like, there was this wave of several years where we were all getting the same stuff. We were having the same dreams, the same warning messages and things like that. And it just seemed like for so long, the Lord was saying, like, he was showing us the rapture and showing us just time coming to a close and giving us words and songs and messages. For example, one song that comes to mind that myself and so many of you guys got as well was that song called Closing Time. And the song called, I think it's called Hold On for One More Day. So I noticed that myself and a lot of you guys were getting all the same songs that were basically talking about, we were done. And then it seems like as soon as COVID hit, everything just went quiet. And I'm just like looking around, like, Lord, where are you? Like, I'm not hearing from you. I'm seeing the same thing also, like, with my subscriptions and people that I watch on here. It's just like complete radio silence. Nobody is receiving anything. And I just kind of feel like maybe that's because, I had said, I believe it was earlier this year in the spring, maybe, I had mentioned that it just looks like the Lord's trying to do something right now, and he just has us like in a waiting period. I don't know if he's like just trying to wait for more people to wake up or more people to come to him or what, but it just kind of has looked like he's been exposing a lot of the evil that's been going on behind closed doors and things that has been going on under people's noses forever that people are just now starting to realize, and people kind of are starting to wake up a little bit and stand up against it. Not as much as I think we should. At least the people around me, I don't really see a whole lot of people really standing up against anything. They're just sitting down and taking it. But I had said that it looks like the Lord is just wanting us to wait while he does something with people. And I had said that it looks like, at least to me, I could have seen us being here for the remainder of this year, which turned out we were. We are in the middle of December right now, and 2022 is just on the horizon. It is just right around the corner, a couple weeks away. And I had said that I could definitely see him doing that because it looks like he's just trying to do something right now with just like bringing everything out from under the rug and exposing things. And I had that dream, I think about a year ago, where basically like the government elite. They were doing something that they had convinced themselves that they were hiding from us, the people. And they were saying things like, there's no way that anybody will figure this out. And something had happened to where all of it was just completely exposed. Like all their dirty laundry was just out there for everyone to see. And they were so shocked, like so shocked. They said, there is no way, it's impossible. There's no way that they could have found this out. So everything that they thought they were hiding and doing behind closed doors and keeping from people was exposed. And after I had that dream, I said that, maybe we're just in a time right now where we have to wait for the Lord to expose more and more of this stuff. And I don't know what the outcome of it's going to be. I know there's been a lot of people on here that have had dreams about Trump coming back or something happening to Biden. I really don't know either way. I could definitely see things going both ways, to be honest. And something I've learned along the way is to never think that just because something looks like something, that's the way it's going to go. I've just kind of learned to sit back and see what God is going to do. But anyway, it's just kind of like you're looking around saying like, Lord, where are you? Because for years you were showing us that it was time for all of this to end. And we can just see the agenda being pushed farther and farther every day. It seems like there's small victories here and there, though, for different things. But I really don't know what he's doing. So I kind of have found myself having that feeling that you have when you're a small child. And there was this feeling that I had when it was my first day of kindergarten. So I had grown up on a family farm at the end of a holler in the country, middle of nowhere. I had never been anywhere else other than on our farm. I had never been to preschool or into the city other than, I remember one trip to, if you guys remember that store, Hills. I remember going to Hills when I was about 6 or 7 for school shopping. And that was it. So I was very cut off from the world. I was very sheltered, and I only knew my family. So it was me and my family in our trailer, and right next to us was my grandma, my aunt, my grandpa, and next to them was my other aunt, and next to them was my other aunt and all my cousins. So we all lived on this family farm, and they were all that I knew. And I didn't start kindergarten until I was 7. 6 or 7, end of 6 or 7. I can't really remember. But I remember being so terrified, and I cried all day long. And the kids and the teacher were just laughing at me because I was crying for my mom all day long because I had just been dumped there. And I didn't know what school was, really. I knew that my older sister went, but I didn't really have a concept for it. But anyway, my point is that I remember my mom just leaving and just kind of looking out the door when is she coming back? I feel so homesick. I just want to go home. I don't want to be here. I don't fit in. Just all the feelings that I have in the world now, ever since being saved. I've never fit into anything, anywhere in my entire life. Especially after having a relationship with Jesus, I for sure just don't fit in anywhere. And I know that it's okay because that's the way it's supposed to be. The Bible talks about God's people being a peculiar people. We are to stand out from the world and not fit in. So if you've been like me your whole life and you just have always struggled with, I just don't fit in, there's probably a reason for that. And I've learned to embrace it because, like I said, that's kind of the way it's supposed to be. So now, with years and years of being shown in dreams and everything, that the Lord is coming and him telling me in so many different ways that it is time to get out of here. And then now going on almost 2 years of not hearing any of that. I'm just looking around kind of having that same feeling of looking out the door, just seeing my mom leave, and I am, homesick. I want to go home. I don't care about where I'm at. And I'm just like, when is she coming back? When is she coming back? I want to go home. That's how I feel. And I know a lot of you guys probably feel that way as well. So, anyway, I was sitting here at the table about a week ago. And something was just dropped in my spirit just like that. And I wasn't even thinking about it. And that was kind of tying back to how I had thought and suspected that if there was a word for the time that we're in, I had thought it was the word wait. Just wait. And as I was thinking that, I had seen, this was all back like during the beginning of COVID, I believe. I had seen a couple videos here and there of people I've subscribed to saying that the Lord showed them the word wait in a dream. So I was like, okay, maybe that's what he's saying. Maybe he's just trying to do something. We just need to be patient and hold on and just occupy till he comes. So the other day, as I was sitting at the table, this thought just dropped into me without even me having to even think about it. So you know how when you are on an airplane flight and you're about to land, and say that there's like weather conditions, there's Winslet, there's weather conditions or some sort of delay, and air traffic control tells the pilot to put the flight in what is called a holding pattern. You guys, I've never even been on an airplane. I'm terrified of airplanes. I will never get on an airplane. I am terrified of them. Not just of flying, but the airplanes themselves. I think I was kind of traumatized after 9/11. If I even see an airplane, just the visual of one to me is terrifying, and I'll kind of have a little bit of an anxiety attack. And that doesn't help me being in between two airports. But anyway, I've never flown. But it's called a holding pattern. And what they do is, so you're just right before the airport and you're about to land, but they tell you to basically, you go in this like racetrack shaped circle. And you just go around and around, and you fly around in that racetrack shaped circle until you are given the okay to go ahead and position yourself to land. And it just dumped on me that it said like we're in a holding pattern. Like that was what was put into my spirit, that's where we're at right now. Like we're there, it's time to land and get off of this place. But there is a delay, and the pilot just has us in a holding pattern and just waiting and waiting and waiting and circling until we're given the okay to land. And that was what just dropped into me effortlessly. And so I really feel like that had to be the Holy Spirit, because you guys, I don't think like that. So I just wanted to share that. So let me know if you've had anything similar along these same lines of it's time to go, but he's just saying like, hold on, wait, be patient, stall for a little while, occupy until I come. There's a reason why he said that. It's definitely time for him to come, but we're just a few minutes out from landing. We're just in that holding pattern, like, just entertain yourselves for just a minute until the delay is over and the weather or the storm, like a lot of times if there's a really, really bad storm going on, the conditions aren't really ripe for landing. So maybe that's, just another like metaphorical example. The storm that's raging right now in the world is insane. So maybe that's our delay. I don't know. I don't know exactly what he's doing, but I feel like that was the message that was given to me. And then just the last thing that I had mentioned was the song that I woke up hearing. A few nights ago, I just woke up and immediately it was in my brain. I was still like groggy and just kind of like sitting on the edge of the bed. I just had got up in the night to go to the bathroom. And the song was blaring in my mind. It's that song by Melissa Etheridge, and it's funny because I've always hated that song. I think it's called Come to My Window. Every time I've ever heard that song on the radio, I'm like, that is like the most annoying song. I can't stand it. I just have to turn it off anytime that it's on the radio, or if it's in the store or something. I'm like, I hate that song. So it's kind of funny that it was just blaring in my head, because I surely haven't heard that song anywhere for a while, because if I do, I will leave the area. So I decided to look up the lyrics, and it's funny because, like I said, I had woken up and I was sitting on the edge of my bed. Right in front of my bed is a window. And this window is like something kind of special between me and Jesus. So every time that I get up in the night, or when I wake up in the morning, or when I am going to bed, every time I walk past that window, I pull back the curtain and look outside, and I look up at the sky, the moon and the stars, and I just kind of look out at the, our property around us, and just kind of just look outside. I'm one of those people that's always like looking up at the sky. So every time I walk by that window, every time I open the curtain and I look out, and I just stand there and I look up and I say, well, maybe this is the day Jesus comes back. Well, maybe this is the night where Jesus will come back while I'm asleep. So it's kind of like a special thing between us, that particular window. So as I was reading the lyrics, I immediately kind of knew anyway, just that's how the Lord puts songs in my spirit, is I'll just hear it blaring in my head. So I knew he gave me that song. And when I was remembering and hearing Come to My Window, I knew exactly what window he meant. So I stood up and looked out the window. There was nothing in particular, nothing special outside. It was just pitch black. But I kind of felt like he wanted me, like he was saying, to come to that window, so to speak, and still look for him and still watch for him to come, because that's what I do. When I go to that window, I look up and just say, maybe this is the day, maybe it's tonight, and I look for the moon in particular, because you guys know just the special thing between me and the Lord, and the stuff that he shows me about the moon being that like very last clue for the timing of when he calls us up into the clouds to be with him. So I'm always like looking for the moon, and sometimes I can see the Big Dipper out that window. And anytime that I can see the Big Dipper, I remember the dream that he gave me where I was raptured up into the Big Dipper. I dreamt that twice. So it's just kind of a special thing between us. So I knew exactly what he was talking about with that song. And even part of the lyrics, I never even knew the lyrics to the rest of the song, because it's just so annoying to me that I just tune it out. But as I was reading, it said, I'm not able to close this off and go look because it would end the video, but I think it says like, come to my window, wait by the light of the moon, and just all the lyrics in the song. I'm like, whoa, because this is exactly everything that I just talked about. Like, that's what I do. I just wait and look for the moon and wait for him and stuff like that. So I feel like with what that whole thing was him saying, keep watching, keep opening the window and waiting for me. I'm still coming. Eventually, one of those days is going to be the day. And that's just what we're waiting for. And I just feel like everything that I'm getting right now, which isn't much, but everything that I'm getting, which is this song and that word that I feel was given to me about being put in a holding pattern and just waiting. We're there, but the conditions aren't right, and there's a delay, and we just need to occupy a little bit longer. I feel like that's where we're at. And with all the foster care stuff, he showed me back in September, I had a dream showing me sitting down at a foster care agency. It showed me like this, sitting here, except instead of like a Bible, it was a packet of papers where I was just writing down and registering to become licensed. Super random dream to have, but I had it. And the next day after that, I decided to check out our local foster care agency, and they just so happened to be starting classes the next day. And then after that, we were seeing in everyone's yards, all through town, these signs that said foster parents needed. So I just really felt like that's what he was telling us that we need to do right now. So I just wanted to share this encouragement with you guys, because I know you guys probably feel the same way, that feeling where you're just homesick, you want to go home, and we're all looking around like, Lord, where are you? Like, why did you just go quiet? After all of that, now nothing. So a lot of people have said, like, we're just spiraling down the drain, and this is just the way that things have to play out before the end. A lot of people have said and are really convinced that God showed them that things were going to basically switch up and go in a way that people did not expect, which really goes along with the dreams and messages that I was getting last year about, I kept getting the word headwinds, about, things changing direction. So I'm really not sure what to think about that. And I know it's very triggering for people on here to even fathom the idea of, God just swooping in and turning things around in our favor, in God's people's favor, in America's favor, in the world's favor. I know that sounds like very, unrealistic at this point. And I hear a lot of people say, like, we're done, we're toast. Nothing's going back to the way it ever was, because this is just how it goes in the end. So I really don't know. All I know is, for those people that are truly convinced that God showed them that things were going to turn around in the end, I was thinking on that, and I'm like, I don't know, that just doesn't sound right. The Bible does say that if God's people will come to him and repent of their sins and turn around their ways, basically, then he will heal their land and turn things around, basically. So there's that, but I just don't know what he's going to do. And I've learned through all of this to never just assume that, well, it looks like this, so that's the way it's going to be. I have learned my lesson to never just go by sight. And I'm kind of listening to that whole message of, like, just wait, just occupy, and just hold on. And just trying to focus on living the life that I have left. I'm just, like, squeezing out the last few months, years that we have left here. And just trying to make the most of it. And trying to give God, like, full control over that. And yeah, so I hope that encourages you guys. Please let me know if you've received anything similar to that, because I do feel like that was what was given to me. That we're just basically, the word for now is wait. We're in a holding pattern. Like, we're there, we're about to land, but there's a delay. But yet at the same time, a delay to the Lord isn't really a delay. It isn't really like tarrying. It's all planned out perfectly. He knows exactly what he's doing. And as selfish as we are, as much as we want to leave, like, we have to respect what it is that he's doing and respect his timing and all of that. But other than that, you guys, it's not like I'm having, like, all these dreams and messages and things and I'm just, like, not sharing them. Other than that, I have had nothing. So, like I said, all the dreams and things I'm having is just stuff pertaining to foster parenting and things like that. All my anxieties and things, just normal life dreams, which is very strange for me because I am just so used to having, like, prophetic type dreams. So other than that, just hang in there, you guys. I know a lot of people are probably really triggered by seeing all the Christmas decorations out there. I've explained this before, but my husband and I, we celebrate Christmas. We're very proud of that. I don't understand. I know a lot of people will say things like, oh, the pagan roots of Christmas and this and that. What people did in the past, in any aspect, has no bearing on the reasonings in my heart why I do things. So me and my husband host Christmas for my family every year, and we think it's a very wise decision, and It's like the one time of year, other than Easter, which we don't have Easter at my family in our house. Christmas is the one time of year that I am able to just kind of have everyone under my thumb for Jesus. They have no choice but to, I don't know if you can see up here, like there's a sign that says, go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. There's like a nativity scene here. There's little signs that talk about Jesus and the gospel and things like that. Little things kind of peppered throughout our house to, like there's even ornaments on the tree that talk about Jesus. Just little things to plant seeds in the minds and hearts of my family while they're here, because I do have family that aren't saved and aren't living for God. So when they're here, they really have no choice but to see those things that they otherwise might not have seen. And it just takes a little mustard seed of faith. All I have to do is sow it and trust God to water it. And then like what we do is we feed everybody. We have a big party. Everyone that comes gets fed really well. We have games, presents, all kind of stuff like that. At the serving table, I will have the Bible open just like this to like the Christmas scriptures, if you want to call it that. So they really have no choice but to see that, and even if it's just for a split second, that a family member of mine sees that or reads that or makes that connection and remembers that Christmas is just, yes, we know Jesus wasn't born on December 25th, blah, blah, blah. I know that. I get that. At this point in my relationship with Jesus, Christmas is it's different. I don't celebrate it the way that I used to. For me, it is an opportunity to witness, to share the gospel. And I think it's very wise, even if it's just for that split second, that my brother thinks about Jesus. That's 1 second in his day that he never thought about him otherwise. So my family very much knows where I stand, my relationship with Jesus and everything like that. So they know when they come in my home and they see these things, they know how much that means to me and how strong I believe and stuff like that. So they're here for an entire evening in that environment and hearing about Jesus. And I just think it's a very wise thing to do. And I have matured enough as a Christian over the past 10 years that I've been saved, which, by the way, Christmas Eve is kind of like my anniversary of being saved. I was saved on Christmas Eve, 2011. So it's going to be my 10-year anniversary with Jesus this Christmas Eve. But anyway, I have matured enough in these 10 years to learn, when I came on here and started hearing people like saying like, you can't have Christmas trees in your house because Jesus will send you to hell and he's mad at you and he hates you and it's evil and all this stuff. Like, I freaked out, panicked. I just would not have nothing to do with any of that. I let a lot of what other people told me and how they tried to make me feel kind of dictate things that I did or didn't do. And then I kind of learned to just say, you know what? I went to the Lord about it myself. I was like, Lord, is this true? I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. I don't want to offend him or anything. I don't want him to be disgusted with me or angry with me or ashamed of me or anything like that. Like, I felt ashamed of myself. So I went to him over and over and over and over and over and said, if there's something wrong with me celebrating Christmas, please tell me. If there's anything, nothing. Like, in fact, he gave me dreams about Christmas that he used in symbolism and tied it to the rapture over and for years. Like, I genuinely was like, if there's something wrong, tell me to stop. Never anything. I was going to mention something else there, but it just escaped me. I was going to say the only thing that I felt led to kind of get rid of was things with Santa Claus. That just didn't sit right in my spirit because it's kind of like an idolatry symbolism. But over the years, I've also kind of realized that to kind of like be compassionate and merciful and kind of pitiful towards people, they don't really know what they're doing half the time. And Santa Claus, in a way, is kind of like a representation of at least the idea of Jesus. Not really, I know that. But it's just where people are coming from, like that's their intention. The Bible even mentions scriptures talking about where God's hair is like white and things like that. So I can see where they're going with that. The Catholics are really big into like Saint Nick and things like that, I believe. So I don't do the whole Santa Claus thing, but I've also learned in maturing to not crucify people that do, because I know people that at least they say they're Christians, they go to church and things like that. They do the Santa Claus stuff, they do the Grinch stuff and things like that, where in the beginning I was kind of like really rudely shaming them for it. And I just realized over time, while all of those feelings and things are true, at the end of the day, it's just kind of what some people say, you're just majoring in the minors at that point. It's just not, you're doing more damage than good than by convicting people of things like that. I don't do it, but I've learned to not judge other people that do, and I just kind of learned to just skirt right over it and just let it go. As much as I don't like it, it's not really important at the end of the day. It's more important to get to the point of salvation for people, let alone be like, oh, you have Santa Claus. Well, let me just tell you what, that doesn't mean anything to people. If you don't know and haven't researched things like that, then it's not important. You guys, don't do it. Don't shame people for things like that. People will get there when they get there. So yes, we do celebrate Christmas and we host it every year, and I just think it's a wise thing to do for me, and I'm very happy that we do that. And I think that I would like to think it would please the Lord that at least for that small moment we were able to reach somebody about him that otherwise might not have given him a second's thought during the day. So anyway, I just thought I would throw that in there, because every year on here, like, there's just so much hatred towards Christmas. And I do get that. Like, I've been through the ringer I've been through the whole Christmas cycle. And I've just it's brought me full circle, really. Like, the Lord has kind of taught me, just focus on the important parts of it, why you do it, and just don't obsess about and nitpick every little thing about it. Because at the end of the day, there are probably billions of people in heaven already. And you can guarantee that they all probably celebrated Christmas and put Christmas trees up in their house and sang Christmas carols and opened presents and things like that. So that's just kind of the way that I look at it. Anybody that doesn't celebrate Christmas, I respect that, because I respect Scripture. And Scripture says if you hold one day special in your heart, basically, do that and celebrate it as unto the Lord. Do it as if you're doing it to him. And if you don't hold that day special and you don't have respect for that day or anything, do that as to God as well. And he will respect both sides of that coin. If you want to celebrate Christmas, go out and do it for Jesus. If you don't want to, like I always say, don't go against your conscience towards God. If you feel it's wrong, don't do it. I never condone going against your conscience, because there's a lot of people that are extremely guilt-stricken for anything having to do with Christmas. If that's how you feel and you feel that you're sinning to God when you do that, then don't do it. But if you don't, then you don't either. And it's all about your heart, you guys. People tend to forget that this whole walk, this whole relationship, the whole salvation thing, and the communion between us and God is between us and God. It's between me and him. It's between you and him. It's about your conscience. God, I believe, can physically see into our hearts, into our conscience, our mind, and our souls, and our spirit, and our intentions for everything. He knows my intentions for celebrating Christmas isn't to, worship a tree or be materialistic and just, all the commercial ideas of Christmas. He knows that that's not my intention. That's how it was in the past for me, but it's taken on a whole new meaning. And it truly is all about him now. And when I celebrate Christmas, all about him, I include things that are him, like his spirit, love, and compassion to people, long suffering, mercy, and just bearing with people. And that's just a part of me learning to not judge people that, like my neighbor, she says she's a Christian. She goes to church. She does a lot of questionable, ungodly things in her life that I've warned her about, that she really was not happy with me about. But she has like a Grinch and a Santa and reindeer blow up things in her yard. I don't go up to her house and knock on her door and say, oh, you think you're a Christian? Well, you have these idolatry, that's just not what it's about. God doesn't expect you to go treating people like that. I just have learned to look beyond it and say, that's just really not important right now. And I find it more important to practice and display the fruits of the Spirit, to be long-suffering towards those people and have mercy and compassion on them. They don't know what they're doing, and I really don't think, to be honest, it's that big of a deal to God. At the end of the day, what really matters? If someone has a Christmas tree in their living room, or I could talk on this all day because it really bothers me, because I have been through the whole thing. As I'm sitting here and just looking into my living room and I see the Christmas tree and all the Christmas decorations, in the past, I really would have just felt just dirty seeing all of that, because people made me feel that way. But when I went to Jesus about it myself and really sought him, what do you want me to do? Because I really wanted to keep celebrating Christmas, because that was the one time of year that I was like, oh, finally, like something I can use to get in, to get a foot in the door to my family. Because, as I said, because I do have ornaments on the tree that talk about Jesus, and I do have signs around the house that talk about the gospel, and I have a nativity scene, and I open the Bible on the serving table to the scriptures when Jesus was born and things like that. And I was like, is the Lord really mad at me for doing those things? So it's kind of like I do it more for that reason than for me. I've matured beyond all of that. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, if you guys don't celebrate Christmas, I respect that completely. Don't do it if you feel that it's wrong. But don't let, but if your intentions are pure and it brings you joy and you really do want to celebrate it for God, and you have ways that you're able to use that to win souls, then by all means, let yourself be okay with that and go to him about it. But I never encourage anybody to go against their conscience for anything. For example, I will go ahead and share with you one of those type of things that I have. You guys probably know, I love coffee. I used to love Starbucks. And then I really realized, I was studying about their logo that they use, which is called the siren, which is that really creepy mermaid looking demon thing. And I learned that they actually believe, the founders of Starbucks, the owners and everything, they believe that, they basically use that, and they have the intention of, that basically is used to draw customers and basically seduce people. It's a siren. It's a seductress. It seduces people in the spirit to keep coming and buying and buying. And when I learned that was something that I'm still to this day not able to let go of, and it really does convict me. So I haven't gone to Starbucks in 10 years. And as much as I love their drinks, and as tempting as it is, whenever I pass one, I've never done it. I've never gone back. And so sometimes people are like, you want to go to Starbucks? Do you want me to bring you something from Starbucks? There is a scripture that says don't eat foods served to idols or something like that, which I know that I try not to be legalistic about things, but that just really, I don't know, I've just fought with that for so long. And there were times where I was like, Lord, maybe I'm overreacting on something like that, but if it's against my conscience towards you, then I just can't do it. And the Bible says if you are purposely going against your conscience, like if I were to be like, yeah, their whole like demon symbolism in their logo, they're purposely using to attract customers, is evil. But I'm like, well, I really would like a Starbucks drink, so I'm just gonna go get one. Even if God doesn't give a crap about that stupid logo and what they think it does and all that stuff, even if he just doesn't care, he can see in my heart that is convicting to me, and I'm thinking, well, it's a sin against God, but I'm gonna do it anyway. He can see that, and that will be, it says, if you go against your conscience towards God, then it is sin for you. So it doesn't mean that everybody that drinks from Starbucks is sinning. It's just if it is for you and your heart and your mind and your conscience towards him, and you're going against that anyway, if you think you're sinning, then it's sin. So I've just, even to this day, I'm still not able to get over that. And I mean, so be it. Because I've said, like, Lord, I might be overreacting. It's just a drink. I don't believe in all of that sorcery and stuff like that. But I don't know why that has just always been something that got me. But it is. So I don't do that. And I don't encourage anybody to go against that. But if I see people around me all the time with Starbucks, I don't say, oh, one time I read on Wikipedia that the pagans believe that blah, blah, blah. They're just going to look at you like, you're a Christian. Christianity must be insane. Get away from me. So I don't do that. And I don't judge them for it. I just pass on it myself. So I hope that kind of gives a little bit of a better understanding of how to go about these things. If Christmas is a sin for you in God's eyes, if you think that it is, then don't do it. And if you're like, you know what, why is everybody making me feel bad about Christmas? I really, truly, my intentions are pure. I want to celebrate him and I want to use it for him and to reach people and things like that. Then take that to him and don't let other people control you in that aspect like I did, because I was acting on other people's conscience and not my own. So I believe that someone like me who celebrates Christmas, and one of you guys that don't celebrate Christmas, I believe that God honors both of us equally, because we are doing exactly what the Bible said. If you celebrate it to him. If you don't, then don't do that as unto him as well. So I do believe he honors and respects that on both sides. So I'm cool with people that do, and I'm cool with people that don't. I don't judge anybody either way, and you shouldn't either. Because like I said, there's billions of people in heaven right now, and you can pretty much guarantee that every single one of them, or most of them, celebrated Christmas. So, like, I know my grandma's in heaven. We celebrated Christmas. So anyway, like I said, I could go on and on about that all day. If you have any questions about any of that, please feel free to ask below. Just always, I guess the main message here is to let everything be between you and God. You don't have to let anything that anybody else feels influence you or dictate how you live your life. And I believe that while you're figuring those things out, that God is long-suffering and merciful with you as you kind of like buy the time to figure things out. He is long-suffering. That's why we're supposed to be long-suffering. He will bear with us a while and be patient with us, especially when he knows that we're just wanting to know what he wants us to do. We want to do the right thing. So he's patient in that while you're figuring it out. So hopefully this helps someone. If he gives me anything else worth sharing with you guys, I will for sure do it. But if I'm not on here sharing things, I'm not getting things. So All right, bye.